In this episode of the Tech Jawn, we discuss Bluesky, Threads, and Spill running the users up in social media, ESPN integrating an AI avatar into its sports coverage, Spotify changing the name of Spotify for podcasters to Spotify for creators, and U.S. workers aren't really trying to tell their managers that they're using AI. Got all this and more for you in this episode of the Tech Jawn. From Columbus, Ohio, I'm your host, Robb Dunewood.
And coming out of Times Square, New York City today, it's your girl Tech Life Steph.
So y'all, Terrance he's trying to be here with us, but he is having some serious. He's fighting some gremlins in this brand new M4 MacBook that he just got, to where he cannot get his camera and his microphone to work simultaneously. So we could either hear him and not see him, or we could see him and not hear him, but not both at the same time. So Steph and I are going to run this, just the two of us episode.
Expensive ass piece of technology. And he can't log in to StreamYard. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I don't think he got the M4. What I don't think he got the top dog, but he got the middle of the line. So like the M4 Pro. What is it? It's M4, M4 Pro, M4 Max. I think he got the Pro 16.
Right.
So yeah,
he did not spend issues.
Yeah, it should be perfect. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this tech show. We appreciate Saray and anyone else who's in the live stream that's been hanging out with us while we try to solve these technical issues. But we're going to go ahead and jump into the show. Before we do, though, I do want to let anyone who is listening know that if you would like to support the Tech Jawn, one of the best ways to do so is by becoming a patron. You can head over to thetechjawn.com/Patreon, and you will see multiple tiers, any one of which will get you access to our live stream and after party, because the Tech Jawn is not just a podcast. We actually do a live stream, and we invite our patrons in to participate with us as we record the show live. So once again, if you would like to support the show, that way you can do it is heading over to thetechjawn.com/Patreon. So with that being said, Steph, I don't know if you have been paying attention, but Bluesky, particularly Threads, and even Spill, they've been on something over the last couple of weeks, basically since 2 Tuesdays ago. I don't know what happened on that day, but 2 Tuesdays ago, they have been running the numbers up. So Bluesky, they initially announced that they crossed like 15 million total subscribers, and then like a day later they said, oh, we're getting like 1 million a day. And then like a day later it's like, oh, we're up to like 17 million. And then a day later it's like, oh, we're up to 19 million. So I would imagine at this point is probably, if it's not north of 20 million, it's probably just south of it, because I know that they said they had 19 million at one point, but they're running their numbers up.
Yeah.
Threads, same thing. Threads has been adding 1 million users a day for some time. And even Spill is the startup that came from two bros, I believe, out of Twitter, actually.
From Twitter, yeah.
That did a startup, and they're even seeing massive growth right now. So I just kind of wanted to start the conversation. Why do you think all of these other social media platforms, when I say other, those that are not X or Twitter, formerly Twitter, why are they blow-up-tuating the way that they are right now?
Well, I just did a segment for Merritt Street this morning about Bluesky and what it is, and what people need to know and everything like that. And I think we can definitely obviously point to the presidential election and Elon Musk's involvement in Trump's campaign. But even before that, people were very, very unhappy. Now they saw the biggest number of defections from Twitter, I think, and I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter. His mama named him Twitter. I'm gonna call him Twitter, as Arsenio Hall saying, "Coming to America." They saw the biggest number of defections, I think, on the day after the election. There was like 115,000 people left the platform all at once, and they're not really saying, they're not giving any of those numbers out at this point. But even before November 6th or whatever day the election was, Twitter was having some issues and some serious issues that a lot of people were upset with. I mean, you go all the way back to when Musk first took over and started taking everybody's blue checks and wanting you to sign up for Twitter Blue and all of that. Now the platform is just a toxic cesspool of garbage. Honestly, I don't know how anybody even navigates on there at this point with the way that there's like zero content moderation. Mac,
Yes.
zero content moderation, and a lot of people got upset when they found out that their data was going to be used to train AI. Like, there's a lot more reasons not to be on Twitter besides just the fact that Elon Musk is cozy with Donald Trump. I mean, that it was probably just the straw that broke a lot of people's backs, but there were a lot more reasons to be off that platform before November 6th. So
Yeah, it's interesting. Because you said stuff, a lot of people were already leaving. And then that 115,000 number, that wasn't people just done on Twitter. That's 150 people that actually cancel their account and delete their stuff off the platform. So that's the difference. That's basically they're coming back now. Somebody go back and get your name if you
are you
you're
hearing?
leave
I don't mean to interrupt you,
where
Rob, but
these
are you
150,000
hearing
left.
you and the way you're breaking up? Is that just me hearing that, or are you hearing that,
It's
Terrance?
not. I hear it as well.
Yeah, you're like breaking up crazy. Like,
You
I literally didn't. I
hearing it as
heard
well?
every
Okay,
fourth
we got the
word.
gremlins and
All right. Well, so
Not good.
I'll try to jump
let's
in.
do this.
Oh, I was gonna carry the conversation while you figure out what was going on, Rob. But maybe it was probably me. So
Nah, I think he's jumping out. But well, what do you think? We just started the first
talking about people leaving X
leaving
and leaving
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah,
It's the
and
straw that broke the camel's back that Musk was so gung ho for Trump and then got a cabinet seat. However weird the cabinet seat is, he's sharing it with what's the guy's name? Visek
Rob,
Ranswamy.
whatever,
Yeah,
whatever.
and I think people was like, all right, that's enough. That is
Right.
enough.
If
But the
everything
question,
else
well,
wasn't bad, like, this is
right.
going to be the thing. It's funny. I haven't been on Twitter in a minute, so I got logged out of my app, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I don't know. I cannot get back on that damn, because I had been saying for a while I was going to delete my account and everything else, but I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well,
Mm-hmm.
it's still a viable platform that was relevant, and news still happened there and everything else. So I was just like, just as a tech person, as a person in tech, I think I need to have a presence there just to make sure I'm not out of the loop on something that might happen. I don't feel that way anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
really want to download my shit and get the F up out of there, but I can't
Mm-hmm.
log in. I'm like, I can't log in. I don't know what I gotta do. I gotta figure something out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I think
So
they're
I
deliberately
go ahead.
making that hard so you can't delete your shit.
Yeah, could be. I requested my archive last week and I got notification that I got it, but you have to go on the desktop. You got to go on X on the web in order to
Okay.
download your thing. And
Yeah.
then I was running into similar problems, but this is before I requested my data. Twitter, they tried to update their security using two-factor and you got
Right.
to
And the
backup codes and
authenticator
who
app or
saved those?
whatever. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So it took me a minute, but then I finally got in, and then the first thing I did was did my peace tweet. This is my last tweet with the tweet fingers. And now that I've got the notification that my data has been is ready to download in a minute now, maybe later on tonight, I'm probably going to go and download it and then confirm that it's downloaded and then hit that deactivation button. Well, again, like you mentioned, is not easy. You got to request to get deleted.
Yeah.
It's
They
like, why
they
I got to
gotta,
request it? I should
they
just be able
gotta.
to press a button
And if
and
you just FYI, if you log back on in 30 within 30 days, they'll
mhm,
reactivate your account. So if you
yep,
saying you
Mhm.
leaving, like, go and don't look
right,
back.
right,
Like lotting them. Don't look back. You turn to a pillar of
yeah.
salt.
Talking to a pillar of
Seriously.
salt.
But
So
so I guess the question leads to where is everybody going, right? Is that the ultimate question we're getting to?
It's not so much where everyone is going. They're going to Threads, they're going to Blue Sky, they're going to Spill, they're going to Mastodon, all the all of the other social media platforms.
Well, let me
That
ask
are
a better
trying to
question. Where the black folks going?
Yeah,
They going to fan base too now. Let's not
yeah.
forget, because I follow Isaac on Instagram, and he's been showing the progression of fan base up the App Store chart,
Mm-hmm.
and it has been gradual. Like I think he's up to like 27 now, somewhere 26,
Mhm.
27, where they was down in the triple digits. So a lot of people going to fan base. So
And the same thing with Spill. The owner on Spill was doing this exact same thing. Like today, it's down to 500. Today, it's down to 200. Today, we're in the top 100. Of app downloads, not necessarily users, just the amount of app downloads. So, the
I
question
got back
is,
on Spill today.
it's
It's
a
not the
different animal.
best user experience. I'll just put
Well,
it
it's
that
different.
way.
So that's the challenge, right? Without getting into too much of a tangent. It's like that on purpose because they didn't want to do retweets and quotes and reposts, and they didn't want that text based. Of course, people are putting videos and they're putting media and gifs and stuff, but it's still they are doing not doing away. They're trying something different other than just inline text, similar to
Yeah.
Twitter, similar to Blue Sky. Because I just peeked into it, and it looks exactly the same as Twitter.
Yeah, it's a Twitter clone.
Yeah.
It's basically a Twitter
Blue
clone.
Sky looks so much like Twitter, not X, but it looks like Twitter so much that when you're on it, you don't realize that you're on it and not the old Twitter. I mean, same color scheme. Twitter used the bird, they use a butterfly. They straight jack. You would think so that it was built out of Twitter. I mean, Jack Dorsey, helmed this while he was still at Twitter. And they did it outside. Did it as a project, within Twitter. So it absolutely does look like it. It is going by leaps and bounds. And I think one of the things that is happening with Spill, they wanted to be a little bit different than everything else because they want to stand on their own. Threads, I think initially a lot of people thought that Threads is going to be a Twitter clone. It isn't. It's the same type of social media platform that is like text based first, but it is, Threads is not really a place where you're going to go to get news because it's not designed to do that.
Yeah, they're manipulating their algorithm.
Right. So it's very algorithmically driven.
Yeah.
To the point to where it's like, I mean, you got to jump
unbearable to the point where it's unbearable. If you ask me.
Yeah. You like I said, for me, it's just muscle memory. I go in and I switch over to my following feed just so I can see some of the stuff that people that I follow have actually posted. And I think that they, what they're doing over on Threads now is that they just announced that they're going a couple things. One of the things that they're in the process of baiting or testing out right now is the ability to have a kind of like a curated feed or a feed that is driven by other things other than what they want you to look at. But they're also going to be putting ads on their platform in January. So for all the people who are like upset about that, you have to understand that this Meta is a, for lack of better words, it's a mini Google. It's an advertising company. That's where they make their money by selling you ads or selling people ads and then displaying those ads to you. So I'm not upset by that. I knew that eventually it was going to come because I mean, it's built on top of Instagram, but it is the algorithm there is kind of wonky. And if you are looking for an X-like experience, if you're looking for a Twitter-like experience, it doesn't necessarily give that to you in spades. Blue Sky, on the other hand, it kind of does.
And I feel like once people really understand the concept of Blue Sky and the AT protocol that is built on, I think that's going to make it even more attractive. Once I finally kind of, rationalize that in my brain, the idea that you own your data and you can port that data wherever you want to go on the web that supports that protocol. I think that that's going to be a game changer because I think that's where social needs to go, right? And not just social. I think the way you interact on the web altogether, it needs to go in that direction. period. And so I think once people really understand what that means and the sort of the power that it's going to give them, I think that's going to be a game changer. I think when the idea of sort of your own customized algorithm, you kind of get to really choose what you want to engage with. And I spent a decent amount of time over the last couple of days on Blue Sky just because I was doing that segment this morning. And I enjoyed the experience. I really did. I think it's a great user interface. It was a much nicer place, more positive, things going back and forth and exchanging of ideas and all that good stuff. And they are claiming they are committed to not doing ads on Blue Sky. Now, that remains to be seen. That's what everybody always say at the beginning until they see the kind of money they can get. But for now, it is still a really good user experience and a positive social media experience. I think in contrast to what's happening over on X. So I'm here for Blue Sky. I'm trying to be here for fan base. I went back in and re-logged into there as well, and we'll see kind of what happens as he's adding features and stuff like that, because I know there was one thing that irked me is you can't do vertical video on Fanbase yet, which was like, what is the point of like literally that was the first thing you should have built,
right?
But once that gets squared away, am I going over there? And literally the one post I have on Blue Sky is much like Threads. I'll probably spend as much time on this platform as I do on Threads, which is to say not at all. And I just left it at that. It's just too much. It's too much. It's social media burnout at this point. I'm like, y'all getting me on Instagram and LinkedIn, and that's probably gonna be about it. I can't.
And I think that's the ultimate thing. One, I do think Blue Sky and Spill and Fanbase missed out on an opportunity. And what I mean by that is to choose who is going to be your customer. Is your customer going to be advertisers and marketers, or is it going to be the customers? And what I mean by that is, are you going to charge customers to use the app? Speaking of messages that received zero fanfare, I put on Spill, I was like, I'd pay $1 or $3 to keep this as algorithm and ad free as possible. And nobody liked it. Nobody
because they were like, man,
nobody responded.
Right.
But the issues that people have with social media platforms, it's the algorithm, and they're gonna start charging for ads, and I can't go down, I can't go I can't scroll through 3 social media feeds without running into an ad. Or the fix to
the
that
alternative
is to get charged $1 a month or $12 a year or whatever the case may be. That way, the owners, the creators, developers, they don't have to go begging for startup money. They don't have to beg for operating capital. It's like, all right, the customers are paying me, so let me really listen to what the customers want. If the customers say no ads, if the customers say I don't want all this algorithm crap, but I'm paying you in return for that, then that's leverage that I don't think these companies don't want to bother with. But I also think we're so ingrained that I don't think they were going to try anyway.
I think that's a hard sell for social media platforms. I think it's a much easier sell for communities. And depending on
how we know if we never tried it, they never ain't no social media app platform ever even considered charging a penny. Just charge a penny, be like 1 cent, and see what happens. I just think they're so. Again, it's just, this is what we do. We raise money and we burn through that money, and then we raise some more money and we burn through that money, and then eventually we'll put ads on the app, and then that'll be it.
And they do that because that's where they're going to be able to make that massive money when you have hundreds of millions of people who are giving you access to all of their data outside of the UK, or I should say outside of the European Union, where they seem to be locking that stuff down. But I think where you will see paid memberships, it won't be with an entire social media platform. It would be with a community on it. So I would give you an example. There are plenty of like, Slack, giant Slack groups that have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in them, but you pay every month to be inside of that Slack. There, people are doing similar things on Discord. Heck, we have a Discord that, we don't directly charge for being in Discord. You get that as a benefit of being a patron, where you can come and hang out in our Discord server. So I think things like that, where you will see like Mighty Networks and Circle and these other platforms, that they don't make their money off of end users. They make their money, they make their money off of the people who are setting up the community, and the people who are setting up the community can charge whomever they want, however they want. I think that's kind of how that's going. And like I said, I personally am a member of a couple of massive paid communities, and they almost work like social media. Clearly on a reduced, we're not talking about hundreds of millions of people. We're talking about tens of thousands of folks. But yeah, you just pay every
But
month to
that's
be
all
a
you
member of
really
this
need to talk
community
to
and
anyway.
get in there.
I
Yeah.
think
So
I think that's probably what we're going to see on Blue Sky, because that is a part of the protocol of the platform, that AT protocol that is built on. They are going to allow for you to host your own server on that platform, and that's coming down the pike. So once you get that set up, that's where, to your point, Rob, that idea of the community comes in, because now you have your own people, your own server. You can bring anybody that wants to join that server, can bring their followers, can bring all of their data, can bring all of their stuff with them. You moderate it however you see fit. Algorithm, no algorithm, like you get exactly the experience you want to have on a particular platform. And it, like I said, I have been hearing about the idea of the Fediverse and decentralized internet and all that other stuff for a long time, and I didn't really understand it until I had to research it for this thing. But now that I get it, it's genius. I mean, it's absolute brilliance.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way that that's the direction the internet needs to go into, just because it's so corrupted at this point. I think that's the direction we're going to, at least maybe not the internet as a whole, but social media, I think will be going in that direction, that federated protocol direction. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too, because it basically, at that point, it starts to work more like email. It doesn't matter whether you use Gmail or I use Outlook or you use Yahoo or I use CompuServe, AOL, or whatever the case is. I just send you a message to it. And that's where these federated social media platforms are working. Is like you have a server where you can join that server, and that server has its own rules. Who knows? Maybe you have to pay to be a member of that server to get the things that are purview on it, but you could still have conversation with someone outside of that server because it's federated. You're not just locked inside of those walled gardens, so to speak. It's like you kind of can go wherever you need to go. So I am, like I said, I'm not going to tell people you need to go get on this or you need to go get on that. Terrance, you asked at the very beginning of this conversation, like, where are the black folks at? I don't know. We will see. And when I look at things like they are black owned, but they're not just saying this is where all black people should be. I mean, they are saying that, but they're not limited to just black folks. I think a lot of times when you have a black anything, a lot of people think, oh, well, that was created black person, that is only for black people, and that's not the spill. That is definitely not the fan base. So I don't know where folks are going to end up. I'm not going to go anywhere.
You're still breaking up a little bit, Rob.
The cool thing I do about
I hate the
Blue Sky is that they
I hate to break up your flow there, but your audio is still shitty.
Yeah, so just I guess ultimately, like I have all but chosen Spill, because it's like, all right, this is a good opportunity to support something that's, at the very least owned, or with the impression of building up a black community. Because one of the things I saw, an article I read, was where people are trying to recreate black Twitter other places, right? They're going on Threads, they're going on Blue Sky, and they're trying to hashtag,
Well, there's already a black, it's
yeah,
called on Blue Sky. There's already, because you can create individual feeds
right,
for different affinity, affinities. It's called, what is it called? Because I'm subscribed to it. Black Sky. It's
Right.
called.
So,
So there's already
and
like a community around it.
right. And my thing is, it's like, all right, well, why, again, food for thought, why go to somebody else's platform and try to recreate something for us? You
Right.
can just go to us. You ain't got to worry about all that. You know what I'm saying? But I get why, because people have influence. The numbers show that people are moving to Bluesky and Threads. So it's like, all right, if I'm a content creator, I'm an influencer, I'm trying to get my shine on. Where everybody going? Well, everybody is going to these things. Well, let me go to these things. Are people going to Spill? Yeah, but yeah, you ain't gonna get some return on investment, right?
It's that vicious cycle where our projects are underfunded, so they have less functionality, and then nobody comes because they have less functionality because they don't get funded, and you just kind of get locked in that loop as well, where these other projects are getting way more money right out the gate. They already come fully featured. The user interface is great. Everything's all slick.
They got
and pretty
moderators.
And
they got developers.
you know what
they
I
got
mean?
the whole thing.
And that's a, you know what I mean? That's a consideration. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's attractive.
Yeah. Well, and people just ain't gonna be sitting around waiting on, like, to your point of you giving Spill a try. I'm going to try to give Fanbase a try, only because there looks like he's always promoting it as an opportunity for the creators to earn revenue.
And you have you have the content that would, in my opinion, do well on a fan base, because
that's what I'm saying. If we can get some damn vertical video, we'd be good to go.
Yeah.
So I'm, once that is fleshed out, because it looks like he might be doing another raise, currently, and maybe coming into some money soon. So once we can get that functionality in there, I think I will, attempt to see what I can create on Fanbase. But I mean, again, at the end of the day, I am tired of trying to just play whack-a-mole with these damn platforms and
building somebody else's platform. You can build your own.
But not just that. It's just my thing is, it's like, all right, there's no one aggregator that you post one time and it goes everywhere and fits that platform
formatted
specifics
properly and everything.
Right. And it's like, all right. So then if I just want to say something, not necessarily create a piece of content, not necessarily promote nothing. If I just want to say something, it's like, all right, I want to say it on Spill, but I got to make sure it looks this way. All right. Well, what if I want to say the same thing to my friends and family, like my real friends and family on Facebook? It's like, all right, now I got to do it a little bit differently. And then, I got to remember to click the box to share it to Instagram. And is it going to Threads? I got to make sure it's like,
but that's the beauty part of the Fediverse. That is what the Fediverse is supposed to eliminate, having to do all of those things and account for all of the different platforms. You're in this perfect world where we won't have to do all of that. And I really do hope these networks get some kind of accord going, where they agree on a protocol, whether it's AT or the one that I forget the name of the one that Mastodon is using, but it's different.
Activity Pub.
Yeah.
Mastodon's Activity Pub.
Whatever they're using, let's all can't we all just get along? Yeah, I mean, and so we don't have to keep running every time a new network pops up. Now we got to migrate all our shit over there and try to build a new following and start following people and grow us. Like I'm over it. I'm over that idea which is why I'm so reluctant to move anywhere else, because I'm not building this shit again. And I didn't even I got this huge following, anywhere, honestly, but I do have a very loyal and very engaged following on Instagram and on LinkedIn, actually, quiet as kept. And I'm not going to spend time and energy trying to recreate that every time the latest and greatest fucking social network comes up. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So
is it better to fish in 7 different lakes simultaneously, or to fish in one lake, maybe the pond right next to it, very, very effectively?
That's
And
it.
ultimately that's what people are going to start doing. They're like, screw it. I'm on YouTube Shorts,
And that's it.
and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all you
Yeah.
get. Like I cannot. And I mean, I can remember, when Hootsuite first came out, I tried to be that person that would schedule and have things going out to every single platform and this and that and the third. That's exhausting.
It's
And ain't nobody
work.
got
It's
time for that.
work.
It's
It's
a
work.
lot of work.
You need
And I'm just
a
not doing it. Yeah.
yeah, you need a person to do that for you. That is
I'm
their
not doing
job.
it. Yeah.
So it's a mess. But just changing gears a little
I'm
bit,
here for the
Terrance,
Fediverse.
Terrance, you stuck a story, in our rundown that absolutely I hadn't heard about it yet, but it absolutely captivated me, so I had to go check it out. But ESPN is seriously contemplating using AI analysts for reporting. It looks like some of their analytics and stuff like that. So, could you tell us what's going on with ESPN and why is everybody trying to replace humans on everything?
Well, I don't know if they're necessarily trying to replace humans on everything, but they're
Yes, they
trying to
are.
supplement.
Yes, they are. Exactly.
I
Don't
don't know.
you
Well, so
believe it?
but with football and sports, I don't know if that's going to be feasible to replace people, because we are sports fans are like stuck on, like, we need a man and he needs to look like me and talk like me and do the sports. Anybody else, you're a sideline reporter, you are the moderator, so I feel like that's the same thing with AI. It's going to be the main dude, and then it's going to be this AI on the side that if you want additional information, ESPN is working on a plan to add generative AI to its SEC football coverage. The network recently debuted an AR avatar dubbed Fax, which is set to be tested with ESPN's college football show, SEC Nation. And basically what this Fax is going to do, well, they don't know yet, but what, in my mind, if you're watching the main football sports network and you are really like want to get in the nitty gritty of the statistics and the stats and all that stuff, this Fax platform will actually be on your TV screens, but the plan, ESPN noted, was to use it as a supplement to the network's analysts. Basically, the idea is for the avatar to present some of the more complicated stats and analytics from ESPN. So I guess the ultimate question is, do y'all think this is going to work, where people are going to think about like second screens, right? You're watching ESPN on your TV or your laptop, or your iPad, and then you got your phone right here, so you listening to the dudes say sports, but then on your phone you're watching this AI guy give you all these statistics and stats. So y'all think it's going to work?
Don't you believe it? When you hear somebody say that, oh, we have no immediate plans to replace any of our human journalists, and this is going to complement the whatever. Listen, the last time I checked, America was a capitalist society. And anything that companies can do to save money, they're going to do it. At the end of the day, if it's going to affect the bottom line, they're going to do it. They're going to do it slowly as to not upset people and have them feeling like, what? Shannon Sharp ain't there no more. It's a AI Shannon Sharp. Like they going to do it very, very gradually. But I'm telling you, if in fact they can get away with replacing a human journalist, they're going to do it. I mean, that's just it just is what it is.
The only reason why I would push back on that is because when ESPN tried to get more diverse voices and diverse faces onto ESPN, them red those the not red states, what that red states. those people who watch ESPN from those red conservative spaces said, no, we are not doing it. Get it out
And
of
I
here.
get it,
And they went
but
right back to where it was.
when that avatar is going to look like them, right now they got this little cartoon brother with the
Right.
necktie on, but that's
Okay.
not how it needs to stay. You know what I mean? We
Sure.
all know what AI is capable of generating at this point. So when they can get an avatar that looks like them and they start doing those hyper realistic ones, like
Mhm.
I'm telling you, we ain't long for this world, man. We ain't
Yeah,
long for this world because it's
it's
just gonna.
it's already started. If you think about just recently, the people that ESPN has either fired recently, and I'm talking about like in the last 6 weeks,
Mhm.
or have decided to, you know what, I'm going to stop making all this money here, and I'm going to go be AD of basketball at a school that that's around the corner from the crib. They're trying to not pay people where they cannot pay them. And you look at like right now, ESPN is grappling with, are we about to really give Stephen A. Smith 85 to $100 million? So if they can figure out, Stephanie, back to your point, if they can figure out if this stuff works and people are not bothered by it, and we can have an AI do some stuff that we normally would have to pay somebody a few $1 million to do, why
Yep.
not do it? That's more money for us. So yeah, this
It's
one is
gonna
going to
start
be real
creeping in.
interesting.
It's gonna start creeping in. Like I said, obviously you can't have an avatar at a live event doing coverage. You're not going to have an avatar sideline reporter necessarily, although they may figure out how to do that as well. You won't eliminate the need for humans altogether, but those people that sit at the desk, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, like I said, we're seeing it happen in the news, around the world at this point. They've been having global news anchors, AI generated global news anchors around the world. So it is not a stretch to see ESPN jumping on the bandwagon, basically, and making this happen. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. ESPN is not going to be the only one to do it, and it's not a
Nope.
matter of, this is not a test to see if it's going to work. This is a test to figure out how they can make it work. They've decided this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
If we can save some money, or if we can make money by doing this with computers, because the technology is only going to get better. So,
Yep.
so look for it. It's definitely going to be coming. And just keeping the conversation on AI for a second, I'm going to jump to this last story here, where there's an international study of over 17,000 workers that show that while AI adoption rose from 32% to 36% globally, U.S. workers remained flat, increasing just 1% from 32 to 33. The study also found that U.S. workers are uncomfortable telling their managers that they use AI at work. So we have been for 2 years running up AI everything. But it seems like in the last 3-4 months, folks have started to slow down. It's like, I don't know if I want to tell my manager that I'm using AI to do my job, because they might figure out how to use AI to do my job without me pressing buttons. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Who gonna tell on themselves? It's like,
Mind your business. Don't worry about how the
right.
sausage is made.
Listen, it got done. It got done on time. I met my deadline. I need you to just cut my check. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
yeah, it's um startling how disruptive this is going to be, um to just a lot of people's jobs. It's really really startling, and it's a shame, because everybody is not going to be able to upskill to something else, or find a suitable replacement
Mhm.
for the job that they're going to lose, because of this. And everybody ain't gonna be writing prompts, you know what I'm saying, and to get their jobs done and stuff like that. This is gonna be, mm, I mean, I don't want to say dystopian, but that's the word that's coming to mind when I'm thinking about what's about to happen, just with the dismantling of things happening in our government right now, plus the rise of AI. Whew, it's getting
Yeah,
real.
when you think about what happened to like steel mills, when you think about what happened to auto manufacturers,
Hmm.
because so many things that you used to have people like, I am from the Midwest. Everybody in my family worked at one of two places, a steel mill or GM or Ford. That was it. Those are the three. You worked at one of the 7 steel mills in the city.
That was it.
You worked at GM or you worked at Ford. That was where everybody in my city where I grew up worked. And once automation started to displace that, my hometown is it's a shell of what it was when, in the 70s and the 80s when things were going strong. And, it's a little before my time, but, definitely like when I remember being in middle school and stuff like that, and you would see smokestacks everywhere, just black, putting all kind of black smoke in the sky. You go now, it's clear as day. None of those plants are still there. So I think that you're going to start to see some of those type of things happen because of AI. So from a people standpoint, if you are in any type of position that can be automated, it's a repetitive type of thing. You want to start thinking now. You should have already been thinking, but if you haven't started yet, you need to start thinking now. What kind of role can I move into to where my job can't necessarily be automated easily? Because
right,
like I think like if you're that first tier of customer service, that's a scary place to be, because these bots are getting so good that people can actually call and talk to them and get those initial questions answered. If you think of it right now, when's the last time you called a telephone number and actually talked to a human first? You always get a system to send you somewhere. It's just going to be more of that type of stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, but not for the sake of not trying, though, right? People try to call to get through, to figure out the tricks to get to the representative. I think what's going to be scary is when we call and we don't want to talk to somebody, and we're like, all right, well, where's the prompt? I just need to know, at what date do I need to send this bill in? I don't need to talk to nobody. I don't need to be on wait. I don't need to be put on hold. I don't need nobody to ask me a bunch of information.
You'll be talking to somebody and you won't know it's AI.
Right.
That's what's really going to happen. You're going to be thinking you getting your question answered and having this whole conversation with this thing that's not real, and you won't even know it. That's where we really going to be. Yeah, Saray said pound zero. That's all I do. Zero. Representative.
Please give me a human being.
Yes, I don't want to press any buttons, but we are going to get to the point where we won't even know we're talking to a bot. And that's going to be crazy.
But it's going back to the story as I read this article, it's like it's interesting, because it's like folks there's now starting to think, oh, maybe I need to pump my brakes on this. And the part that was really interesting to me was that, I'm using AI. I just don't want my manager to know that I'm using it. So that brings up a couple of issues. That means that, artificial intelligence is basically just kind of going roughshod through a lot of organizations where they may not even know that their employees are using they're using ChatGPT right on the web to do work, particularly for folks who are working from home and aren't going through a VPN to get it. How would you know that that's what they're copying and pasting your company data and putting it into these bots to try to get, numbers crunched out of them?
And I think it's more a function of not wanting your boss to know you ain't doing your work, as opposed to being afraid that ChatGPT is going to take your job. I think people ain't doing their job like they know they're supposed to be doing it, and getting over with ChatGPT. I think it's more of a productivity sort of, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, you want to make sure that your performance review reflects the fact that you did this work and not this piece of software. So
I'm game. I'm with it, because it's like, all right, company, you're going to try to replace me with AI. Well, I'm going to try to replace myself first. AI do this job.
Smarter, not harder,
right. Why is the problem when I do it?
Yeah, I showed some initiative. You should actually put me in charge of something so I can show you how to do this for the rest of your organization. But anyway, like I said, I thought that was a really interesting, just, people are like, yeah, I use it. I just don't want my manager to know I use it. And it's like, and then the gung-ho-ness, at least in the United States, people are kind of, it's not growing as fast as it was, which could literally change how some of these companies operate if that is a lagging trend.
I think
could just be a blip for 3 or 4 months.
I think people are trying to deliberately put the brakes on it, though, because they see, or at least whether the fear is justified or not, that their job will be replaced. I think they're trying to slow that process in any way that they can. You know, like if we don't say we're using these tools, if we don't, you know, if we appear hyper productive because we use them, but we don't say we're using them, then maybe that disincentivizes companies to try to, you know, bring more AI into the workplace. So that could be, you know, it could just be a ploy to hold on to a job by not by making it seem like AI can't do the job, even though they're using it to do the job. So
How
you
about
know,
that?
I'm like, listen, I'm trying to keep my check coming in, so let me be productive, but let me front like I'm doing it
I'm
and the
doing it.
AI is not doing it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of motivations, you know, to not fess up to, you know,
Mhm.
using the tools. Definitely.
Well, folks, I have Terrance started off fighting the technical support demons. I am now battling with them to where I think I have had to drop out and come back into this show probably about 6 or 7 times. So I think Steph, let's go ahead and wrap up, and you know, we'll say some of these stories for you know, for
And
coming
me
weeks.
with the hotel Wi-Fi was the
Yeah.
one that could hang out the
But anyway, go ahead and tell folks how they can get at you.
You can follow me all around the web at Tech Life Steph, or check me out at stephaniehumphrey.com.
And you can find me all over the internet at Brother Tech. That's BROTHATECH.
And I am at Robb Dunewood on all the things. And we're also at the Tech Jawn on all the things. So come holler at us, have you holler until we meet again in a week's time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.